Okay, we are on in test mode on Facebook. We will be opening and starting the meeting. If I'll be opening the waiting room in 4 minutes, and then we'll be starting the meeting promptly. I believe Miss Vega has joined us now.
Yes.
Hi, Miss Vega. We will, after the principal, I'll introduce you to bring opening remarks if you would like.
Okay, absolutely.
Okay, great.
So today's meeting is just the bond meeting to review Riley and any updates.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, great. So I'm still keeping an eye out for the trustee.
So Jacqueline, Ms. Bell, may I ask
Yes. Uh-huh.
who will be delivering the information this evening? Will it be Mr. Alfred?
Mr. Alfred will be introducing the design team who will then
I got it.
do the
Okay.
majority of it. Yeah.
Okay.
So about 2 minutes to start. Okay. Trustee Mishke, I'm about to let him in. Good evening, trustee. Welcome to the meeting.
Hi, nice to see
Hi.
everyone.
Great seeing you. Hope you had a wonderful holiday.
I did. I hope everybody else did. It seems like it was like 2 weeks ago already.
I know. I know. Well, the format is pretty much the same format we do every time. The translator now will come in and do housekeeping duties to start. And then we'll turn it, I'll introduce the principal who will make her opening remarks. We'll go to you for your opening remarks and to the executive director for her opening remarks. Then we'll turn it over to Mr. Alfred who will introduce the design team and the show will go on.
Okay, great.
So we're at 5:59 right now, and I'm about to open the waiting room for the community. We have a number of people waiting, and we will begin promptly at 6 p.m. So have a great meeting, everybody.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Dallas ISD Bond 2020 meeting regarding the replacement school for Martha Turner Riley Elementary School. And we're glad you're able to join us tonight. And I'm going to pause right now for our interpreter to give instructions on how to participate in Spanish.
Buenas noches y bienvenidos. Si desea escuchar esta presentación en español, puede seleccionar la opción en español en la parte inferior derecha de la pantalla, en el mundo. Si por algún motivo no escucha al intérprete, regresa al inglés y vuelve a intentar la opción en español. Si aún no funciona, a favor de avisarnos por el chat. Desafortunadamente, la opción de interpretación no es compatible con las computadoras Chromebook. Le recomendamos que intente entrar a la reunión utilizando un teléfono celular, ya sea iPhone o Android, una computadora PC, iPad, tablet para escuchar la reunión en español. Gracias. Go ahead, Jackie.
Thank you so much, and thank you for joining us this evening. Again, welcome to the Dallas ISD Bond 2020 meeting regarding the replacement school for Martha Turner Riley Elementary School. We're so excited to have you join us today and to have you participate in this process to design a new school for this great campus. With that being said, there are several ways you'll be able to participate tonight. If you're joining us on the Zoom call, first, we do ask that you do remain on mute so as not to have any background noise that can in any way interfere with the tonight's meeting. If you are on the Zoom meeting, on the Zoom call as well, you will have the opportunity to have suggestions to participate. Um, if you look at the bottom right-hand screen of you'll see a reactions button. You can raise your hand to ask questions or participate in the chat room. If you raise your hand to ask questions, we will allow you to go off mute and ask the question directly. Or again, you can ask your questions, comments, and concerns in the chat room. And that's in either English or Spanish. We will be monitoring those as well. If you're joining us on Facebook Live, we are broadcasting tonight's meeting on Facebook. So if you're joining us as one of our Facebook family members, please just as a comment on the post, go ahead and ask any questions, make your comments, your remarks, your concerns as comments, and we'll get those answered as well. With that being said, we're so happy to have, we're so proud of the principal that's leading this particular school and the amazing job they're doing for our kiddos over at Martha Turney Reilly Elementary School. So I'm going to pause now and introduce the principal of this great school, Principal O'Neill, for her opening remarks. Principal O'Neill.
Thank you, Ms. Bell. Good evening, community, parents, staff members. We are so excited that you're joining us this evening for our third design charrette. This is an exciting time for the community, the staff, the parents, and our students at Reilly Elementary. I want to thank the architects at Manning who have taken our vision and our feedback from our previous charrettes to create this presentation for you this evening. We value your feedback and we look forward to hearing your input this evening. Again, thank you for sharing in this opportunity with us.
Thank you again, and thank you for the work that you and your staff do every day to educate our children and to move forward to make sure that all of our students are getting an equitable education, especially in these trying times. This school is very fortunate. Dallas ISD is also very fortunate to have a wonderful board of trustees. And this school in particular, Mr. Mishke, who is the board of trustee member for Reilly Elementary School. Ms. Trustee Mishke, would you like to make any opening remarks at this time?
Yes, I'll be very brief. I want to thank everybody for participating tonight, and I really want to thank everybody who's been involved in making Reilly a great school for their efforts. We're here to listen tonight, so I will again just keep it brief and just thank everybody for participating.
And thank you again, sir, for joining us tonight and for the work that you do to ensure quality of education for our students in Dallas ISD. Also joining us today, they always say it takes a team to make a great school and to raise a village to raise a child. Well, the part of the village for Reilly Elementary School is an amazing executive director by the name of Lisa Vega, who is here tonight to join us. Executive Director Vega, would you like to make any remarks at this time?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Jacqueline Bell. And I wanted just to say good evening and welcome all of y'all. I know that coming from the Thanksgiving break, I hope everybody had a wonderful, restful break. And so now as we're moving forward into the next, 15 days before our winter break, I'm excited that you're taking out the time to join us, to join Principal O'Neill. Thank you, Trustee Mitchke, for also supporting and being a great supporter for our children at Reilly. And we look forward to hearing the feedback this evening. And whatever Principal O'Neill and the staff needs at the school, we are here to support. And I look forward to seeing the vision come to life. So thank you.
Thank you again for everything you're doing to support our schools during these difficult and very different times as we're moving forward. The Bond 2020 program is historical in that it is the largest bond program in the history of the state of Texas. And this effort is being led by our Deputy Chief of Bond and Construction Services, Brent Alfred. Mr. Alfred's going to come at this time and catch everyone up to speed on where we are now. Mr. Alfred.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Bell, and thank you, Raleigh community. We're excited to be back here the third time to show you that we have been listening. That's a real value we have as a district and especially in my department, that we really want to listen and get you guys feedback. And I think you guys are going to be impressed with the team we've assembled, the solutions they've come up with. I'm excited about it. And, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Andy Kim and his team. He'll go through the slideshow. And what's important here really is we want to make some big decisions tonight about building orientation and kind of design direction for the team. So keep that in mind as we go through the slide presentation. And without further ado, Mr. Andy Kim.
All right. Thank you so much coming to the meeting. So without any further ado, let's start. Today, I'd like to share with you primarily two exterior options, although we're going to share with you some interior perspectives. Today's primary goal is to focus on exterior of the building, so we can set a direction based on the site planning ideas that we have chosen from the last meeting, which is the option B, and that is what is showing in front of you right now. Oh. So with that, I'd like to start again, going back to our the big idea that our district had, which is the bold, innovative, and generational, and how these ideas are actually impacting the overall result of how the building looks. For example, bold. Our building is going to be big. It's residing in this residential neighborhood, yet the scale of the existing building worked well within the neighborhood because they were not competing against each other. And that is something that we want to keep. We're going to be bold with our details, expressions, yet be humble so that it really belongs in the neighborhood. So that was one idea. And the second idea is that we want to be innovative, but innovation does not mean we're going to just scrap everything we used to have and then start over. That's not the idea. We want to teach our kids to be a good steward of this earth and be sustainable as well. That's why we're going to save the existing pavilion. And there are some design elements that we have done around it so that we're being sustainable and innovative at the same time, and also addressing some of the comments that we had from the last meeting, which I will elaborate down the road. And lastly, generational. I don't know if you pay attention to the details of the residential, because I'm an architect. A lot of these houses in the neighborhood have been maintained very well. And it is because it's coming from kind of mid-century modern era, where the detailing of architecture has been very focusing on simple geometries, which simplifies the detail, which makes it last longer and become resilient over time. And that is something that we want to leverage upon. And you're going to see some of the details of the exterior facades will begin to kind of having a conversation with a surrounding neighborhood by utilizing masonries and simple, straightforward details that's going to last a long time. So those are the three big ideas. So let's begin with where we were. Again, this is based on option B that we have chosen collectively from the last meeting. And this is where the pavilion that I was talking about here, which we will see from a different view later on. And then we have playground, and we have basketball, and then we have a fenced area here with the open field so that kids can play within a protected zone here. And then we have a parking to the north, which is the pick up and drop off for the older kids. You will come in and pick up your kids and go back the same way. And to the south, we have a pick up and drop off for younger kids. There will be a queuing zone here. You will enter, pick up your kids, and then you will exit your way out. The separation between the 2 points of entries will ease the congestion during the time of pickup, so it'll be very efficient. And then another comment that we had from the last meeting was that because we have a delivery and trash zone here, we would like to be very accommodating to the neighbors. So you'll have another view of this area, but we have this wall, and then we have landscape in front of that wall, so that it creates a nice barrier. So unless you go into this courtyard, you will not see trash area or the delivery area. Okay. So this is option A, and so this is kind of overall composition. And as we dive in to the ground level, you're going to see a map here. So this is another view to the north, and we will have a closer view of all these areas. So if you look at this perspective, you're going to see the overall plan, and then you have a red cone of vision. So you're looking this way, like that. So the portion of the building that you are seeing in front of you is a cafeteria that can also transform into performance hall, which you will see later. And then if we walk down, this area here is the area to the library. You're seeing the outside of the library. These are still sketches, so please excuse the concept only watermark. Um, so in green is represented by the visible window, and the white is perhaps the translucent window. So there's kind of rhythm to the interior space. And then you're gonna have a canopy, and then you're gonna have a metal finish. Then you have a wooden soffit at the canopy. And here you're seeing this wing is a classroom wing. So here you have just kind of punch windows, and then you have architectural articulation on either side of the window, and then there's a larger frame of work that organizes this each windows through masonry here. And then we would like to make all components of architectural detail as a design element. For example, we have downspouts that's been positioned. It's not at a random place, and we have night light fixtures on the exterior of the wall that's been positioned, so it becomes the composition becomes well balanced. As we turn the corner, looking at the end of the building, we have landscape in front, and we're going to have an exit door there. So rather than making a random element, making it integrated to the facade. And this is the view that you're going to have as you drive into the parking to pick up your kids. Then if you go a little closer, here's a sweeping canopy which will protect the kids and the teachers from the sun and rain during the pickup and drop-off process. And you can kind of see the scale of the building by looking at the kids here and adults scale figures here. And this is the primary entry. And above there, you have a school logo that's been cut out, spelling out the name of the school. And from the other side, it's the similar geometry, kind of overall U shape, following the geometry of the parking. And this is a view into the entry to the building, where in this option A, we have two entries here, which is connected to the canopy to the entry. And there's another entry to the left, which connects you to the protected, the fenced area for the ease of use. rather than going out into the unprotected zone and then come back into the protected zone. This side entry allow you to go in and out of from protected area to another protected area for the functional use of the school. And as you turn the corner, having some opportunity to do a little kind of branding for the school. It's a good place to do it when you have a lot. They kind of highlight where the building is. It's a very economic way to achieve branding here. And then we have entry here that also going to be integrated into the facade design. And to the south of the parking, as you approach, we're going to have the canopies here as well. And one step closer, we have a wooden soffit under the canopy. And then we have a light well that's been punctured through the canopy where kind of symbolic tree kind of resides. And then the kids can kind of learn to be a good steward of the earth and really kind of take care of this kind of symbolic tree as they come and go. And this is another view looking north. So the school bus will be here. So when you're waiting for school bus, you will also have the canopy protecting you from the sun and the rain. So there was option A. Now we're gonna take a look at option B. But at the end of the presentation, we're gonna have an opportunity to compare those two options side by side. So I don't expect you to have kind of memorized these. Oh, before we do that though, this is the view that's looking into that wall that's protecting the trash and delivery area here. So as you can see, you cannot see that area at all if you're the neighbor residing to the south of the building. All right, moving to option B. The overall composition of the site planning idea is the same. However, the way the facade's been treated is a little bit different. So this is again looking into the cafeteria, the dining hall area that can be converted into the performance hall. As you can see, the color of the masonry in option A was more like a light color beige, but on this one it's more kind of gray tone. And another different thing here is it has kind of school color color glass integrated into the facade, so there's some kind of playfulness into the library area as the light filters through, and you can see the blues and greens going up and down. So in option B, the strategy to have the windows into the classroom is a little bit different. In option A, we had one big one that was continuous, but in this one, we're giving a different kind of frame to look out. So for this one, it's a vertical, and the middle one is a little wide, and the one on the right is a little more square shaped. So these three windows will represent what you're seeing from one classroom. So classroom 1, 2, 3. And again, the exits are kind of integrated into the facade so they don't feel like they're out of place, but integrated into the facade. This is as you drive in. So this is the same, the canopy. But however, the soffit material is more toned down because at the overhang of the main building, you have that warm tone. From another angle. So in option A, we have a different approach where the entry was right here, and it's connected to uh, the standalone canopy. However, in this option B, we have a building overhang that overlaps, and then standalone canopy kind of sweeps underneath it. So the entry is right here. You get out. You have continuous protection from the sun and the rain. Then you tuck under the standalone canopy, and then you can go to your mom's car or dad's car. And this is another entry that's going to release you into the playground area and also the basketball area as well, like that. So as you turn the corner, it's this kind of similar strategy as the option A, where the the doors are integrated into the facade. And this one is you have a warm tone to the right. Therefore, the canopy, underside of the canopy is more neutral color. So you're not overwhelming the color palette. And a similar strategy here with the light well falling uh, through this tree, and the kids can uh, take a look at those as they come and go. Another view from the school bus drop-off area. Okay, so this area is the pavilion that we're trying to save, and I think we will, because it's far away from the building. However, due to the proximity of the existing community garden to the existing school, I don't think we'll be able to save uh, the plants. Therefore, we have to replant. But I think this is a wonderful place to do so. Um, so on the either side of the pavilion, we can have a community garden where people can come in um, and then help, and that becomes outdoor learning opportunity. Um, so teacher can stand or sit in the pavilion, and then we can do a kind of humble exterior bench, and then that's where kids sit, and then you can do a storytelling. You can do the silence class out there. Yeah, I think that's going to be very nice. And a different view from an eye level view. Of course, we have to choose um, exact plans and stuff like that. This is for just visual purpose. Um, I mean, today we're not gonna really go into the details of the inside of the building because that's our next step. But overall composition, here you have a pre-K through first, and to the green is the second through fifth, and the separation is intentional for functional use of the space. And the light blue is administration area, which has been kind of anchored in the center to control traffic and also control who comes in through the entries. And then here is the library. And then this is the dining hall, cafeteria. And then this is food services. And in the center, as a gray, is the gym area, which will also function as a storm shelter. Having that in the center area is kind of advantageous for kids to reach that safe space in times of emergency. Okay, so this area, if you look at the arrow, we are in the cafeteria, and this cafeteria has two functions. One is performance. Right now, the proscenium is open, and there's a performance up there. The stage is elevated 2 feet above the ground, which will give you a nice view for performance if you're sitting out here in those chairs. And then on the side of the wall, we're going to have truncated, kind of basically shaped walls, which allow you to have a very good distribution of sound throughout the space. And as a light fixtures above, we're running this idea that we're going to integrate some school colors, which is red and blue. Uh, these are felt materials which absorb sound, but it can also be a light fixture. So having a multifunctional material. But during the day, you're just gonna have mega shades up. So the nice light will come through, and the curtains will be down here, and the kids will be eating their lunches here. So it's gonna be a multi-purpose room. This is a library area. So these are the color kind of glass that I was showing you on the outside, the kind of blue and the red, and the light will filter through. Here, what we're proposing is some type of graphic is a very effective way to make the space interesting. So here is a nice kind of nature with a lake, water, and then it has a deck integrated too. But the deck comes out of the picture into a physical realm, and then upon that deck you have a kind of boat thing, and then there can be a seating, which draws the kids to be more kind of involved in space, kind of engaging them better. So that's something that we've been working on. All right, so I know there's a lot of stuff, but again, I'm gonna go back to the slides and then show you the differences between the two exterior options that we're gonna focus today, option A and B. But I think this is a good time to ask any questions before we look at the options side by side.
Thank you so much for the presentation. Once again, we do have one person with the raised hand. We do have one comment. If you're joining us on the in our Zoom call and you join late, you can raise your hand by using the reactions button in the lower right hand corner of the screen of your screen, or you can place your question in the chat room. We'll get those answered. If you're viewing us and joining us on Facebook, please just submit your questions as comments, and we'll get those answered as well. First, from our chat room, we have a question: will the pavilion be on both A and B perspectives?
Yes, the pavilion will be saved.
Right. Okay, and Miss Lucky, you have your hand raised.
Yes, thank you so much for all the work that y'all have already put into this. It looks amazing. I had two questions. My first question was about the drop-off and pickup lines. We have a lot of parents that live close by the school and walk to the school. Will there be, in your mind, an opportunity for people to pick up their children walking still? And my second
Yes.
question is about the recess. So you can address the first one and then I'll ask my second one if that's okay.
That's perfect.
Okay.
I hope you're not nauseated just flipping through all the slides. So, yes, it is something that we have addressed. However, because we have this line of traffic coming in, the pedestrians cannot approach the building from all directions. So for safety reasons, so the dark green that you're seeing is the fenced area. So when you're coming to pick up kids, you cannot enter the area, and you cannot cross over like this because that's not safe. So my recommendation is having this pedestrian connection to the west of the site. So you have to, I mean, if you live here, you kind of have to go around. And that's actually what I do for my kids because it's not safe to cross for many reasons. So if you go here, there's a dedicated sidewalk that connects you to the outside of the fence, and then you come in, and that's where you pick up your kids, and on your way, you go.
Okay, that sounds great. My second question is about the recess, the fenced-in area. I see that there's nowhere to play soccer, and I'm wondering if y'all have thought about that. Like, is that where recess will be, and will there be a playground? And that was my second question.
Yes, of course. So this open space right here, that is actually big enough to play soccer. That's been for elementary kids. I cannot call it a soccer field though, because it's not a DISD standard because it's our district is very big, and then we have to treat all the schools the same. However, it's like the
Mm.
pavilion thing here. We cannot have, outdoor learning center per se, but we created opportunities here, and I think we can do something similar here because we do have that space. We intentionally made this space not too big because if you make it too big, it's harder to maintain and it's costly.
Mm.
But it's enough to have pretty good sized playground, pretty good sized basketball, and also soccer opportunity.
Okay.
So it'd be
Thank you so
nice.
much.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
You're welcome.
We have a couple of questions coming in through the chat space as well. Let me get to those. So the gorgeous from Miss Kelly. So the gorgeous oak trees can be saved even when there's no construction in that area.
Um, so we're gonna save every tree that we can because that's the right thing to do. However, there are a couple trees that we may have to mitigate. Now, it could be more than a couple of trees. I don't want to guarantee you anything, but we're doing all we can to save all the trees. One is in the middle of the parking here. I think it's like right there. Due to the geometry of what we're trying to achieve, I think that has to be replaced. And there's another one right here in the basketball court. However, again, as I said, we're gonna do all we can to save as many trees as possible because these trees are what here waiting for us. So, did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you. Also, we have another comment that the playgrounds area seems to be a little small. So they're on the day. I mean, it's a piggyback to the question about the soccer fields. They are there's some concern about the size of the playground, designated playground area. We also,
Well,
next, okay, Ed, uh-huh.
no, go ahead, finish your question.
Oh no, that's it. It was just a question about it seems a little small.
Uh, no, based on what we have and what other schools are showing, this is pretty decent size. Uh, I mean, if you look at it compared to a basketball court, it's actually a little bigger than that. But that is something that we can take a look into because we do have some extra areas around it. So we'll take a closer look at it if you feel that it's too small.
Okay, great. From Alexis Flores, we need a connection from the west side. Otherwise, parents will walk through the grass regardless. Is it possible to add a sidewalk along the west side of the drive from Lippitt?
From here, I
Um,
think that's possible because we already have an exit that's going to have to kind of connect to the sidewalk anyway. Um, so we can do something that's doing similar here too. I think that's possible. We'll take a look at it.
okay,
Thank you.
great. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand using the reactions button to the lower right-hand side of your screen. To raise your hand, we can get you off mute to ask your question directly, or you can place it in the comment section in the chat room space. If you're joining us on Facebook, we encourage you to make any comments, ask any questions as comments on the post, on the live post, and we will get those answered as well. So right now we're slowing down on questions. I don't see anyone having their hand raised. If you want to go to the next area you were talking about, the comparisons, I believe. Okay, someone did make a comment. This school has a lot of walking parents, so please see how you can adjust to accommodate the parents who walk their children to school.
Okay. So we're going to go to a page where we're going to see these two exterior options side by side. Unless there are further questions about other areas.
Now, we're not having additional questions now. So if you want to go ahead and share
Okay,
that portion. Mhm.
yeah, then let's take a look at them. Um, so, one on the left is option A, and option B is to the right, and is pretty self-explanatory. But for example, this option here, the difference is like this is more gray tone in option D, and option A is more lighter tone, and then option B here has integrated kind of school colored colored glasses, and then it's more plain in option A. When it comes to window strategy, option A is more, it's simpler. Now you got one unit of window across, and then you have different architectural detail around it. Option B it consists of three different types of window per classroom. It's like a one skinny one, wide, and squarish one. And also, the color of the masonry that's been used is a little bit different. It's more warm tone on option B compared to option A, which is more neutral. It's a play of a dark and a light, and option B is more like a kind of gray to warm. And geometry is a little bit different too, where option B makes the corner like this, whereas option A, the masonry becomes more like a planar quality here as it kind of sticks out like a blade. So there's a different aesthetics. Uh, Also, I want to encourage you to make comments like, I like option A, but I like option B's canopy or something like that. It's not absolute, decision of, either or, but you can also comment and, let me know some of the things that you like and dislike about certain options. So here, the big difference is that the wood soffit here in option A versus a very light color, more kind of neutral kind of canvas look for option B. And in this view, the big difference is that, we have option B, we have overhang from the main building, and then you have the canopy sweeping underneath it. And here is you have like a little bridge that connects the standalone canopy to the building imagery. So that's a very different approach. Here again, the geometry is more planar. It's like a blade that's kind of coming out, whereas this kind of turns the corner. And you can see the warm tone of the masonry facade here in option B, and then more simpler color palette. However, you have more warm tone at the canopy. So those were comparisons between option A and B. Um,
We've actually just
so
launched our poll. So the poll is now open. If you want to go ahead and vote on option A, option B, or again, if you like neither, you can also choose neither as well. And if you're joining us on Facebook again, you can simply type in option A or option B as a comment, and we will calculate those as well. Well, the numbers are going up. We're going to give a few more minutes to everyone have opportunity to poll between option A, option B, or if you don't like either, you don't have to. You can say neither, or say you can mix and match. Maybe you like the canopy in option A, but you prefer the facade in option B. You can certainly go off mute when we close the poll and share your thoughts about that as well. It's like voting is slowed down, so I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. And right now, what we can see, the results we have, option A received 18 of the 25 persons voting. Option A was ahead by 72%, followed by 6 people who voted for option B and 1 person who didn't like either. So I have a couple of comments coming in here. I'm going back and find the comments. Okay. One person said that they thought that the playground area was, I've lost that comment. I apologize. We're having a lot of comments come in. This is great. Thank you so much for participating this way. Someone commented they thought that the part of the playground area was also for the school expansion. Okay. One person commented.
Yeah, maybe I'm not understanding the question. The playground is part of the project. Yes.
Okay, it is. Yes, the playground area is a part of the school of the playground of the school expansion. So here's another comment. I like the box to mid-century with the red and blue squares in the windows of option B.
Okay.
Someone else commented they prefer option A because it's more of a mid-century modern style. Love option A, but with the color windows from B and the window configuration from B at the classroom. So
okay,
that's
perfect.
the option.
That comment is perfect.
Perfect. So we have that one down, Ms. Flores. The option A, but you prefer the windows from the window configuration and the color windows from option B. Perfect. These are the comments we love to hear. The canopy sweeping under is also very nice. Another comment. A question, are there any differences in the durability of the materials between the two options?
No, not really, because two options play off of colors and some kind of reflectivity, but both options are going to be very durable. These buildings will be here for a long time, hopefully long before I'm gone, so long after I'm gone. So we're choosing materials carefully, materials that are durable and also very economical and locally made. So yeah, no, it's going to be same very durable materials in both options.
Fantastic. Ms. Lucky says, I do like the wood soffit under option A as the canopy.
Just to clarify, it's not going to be a true wood because exposing wood under elements, under the weather, open space is not a good idea. So what we're proposing is, I know it's going to sound ridiculous, but this has a practical usage, which is it's a wood texture that's been printed on aluminum. And it's not a cheap material. It's not going to look like, oh, I see, it's a wood grain printed on aluminum. No one's going to know. And it's the right thing to do because it's going to last a very long time, just to clarify. However, again, it's going to be a very durable material.
Great. Ms. Virgin says that they prefer the warm tones in option A. Ms. Decker, I would like to see this canopy sweeping under the overhang applied to option A. So you're referencing the canopy sweeping underneath that's found in option B, you would like to be applied to option A. Is that correct? Is that correct, Katie Decker?
Yes, that's right. Thank you.
Okay, great. Tracy Satini, I'm probably mispronouncing your name, so I apologize in advance. I want the colors from the library in both options. So A with the library colors added. So I believe Tracy, you're saying that you prefer option A for the style, but you want the windows from the library windows from option B. Am I correct in that one?
That is correct. And you pronounced my name correct. So thank
Oh,
you.
thank you so much. Wonderful. Okay. Um, Alexis Flores says that they like the metal at the classroom in option A. Ms. Anderson likes the lighter tones and the wood features in option A, well, the wood printed metal in option A. It feels more inviting, and also the canopy looks great.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, Ms. Decker said, I would like to see the school color glass panels added to option. So it seems as though the overwhelming comment is that the style of option A is preferred, but those windows and the color splotches that are included in option B um, are the preferred window styling with option
Perfect
A.
comment.
Right. I'm getting several of those comments coming through. Someone said in earlier meetings, if the school expansion was needed, it would take over part of the, okay, we got it. The question going back about the playground area, and I don't know if you need to go to that particular slide or the diagram that shows the playground area.
Well, why not?
Okay.
Um,
And this might give some clarity to this question. And Mr. Susan Galiopoulos, and I apologize if I butchered your name. I do apologize. Right there would be great. Just leave it right there. Her comment is in earlier meetings, if school expansion was needed, it would take over part of that area that is now designated as a playground. Are you referencing in the future if there will be a need to expand the school, or are you referencing the overall project today, just for clarity? For clarity.
well, when there is expansion, the
Mhm.
first place I would do is actually here, because we have room and we have elongating that section of the building is much easier
Hmm.
way to do it. So that will be the first, and then we have a little more room on this academic wing as well. Before we encroach into this area, I would tackle those areas first, and then if there are more need, then we have to take over this area here, and then make the fenced area larger to the north.
Okay. Okay. Because I hope that answers your question. So basically, if expansion is needed, it would be added onto one of the farther in piece first, then the other one prior to encroachment into what is now the playground area. So, question, is there a way to separate the playground area from the garden area? Might be hard to teach in the classroom outside while recess is going on at the same time in a shared space.
Yeah, but what about that sound though? It's because right now the pavilion is where it is. Uh,
Mhm.
so we didn't move the pavilion. We're gonna keep it, and then we're gonna design around it. So that's gonna be the kind of difficult thing, and also it doesn't matter where the pavilion is, because you're gonna have when everybody's out, there's going to be a challenge because of the sound. You're going to hear all the kids playing, and then. But I understand the comment. Uh, we have to think about it. Maybe there could be some separation. It might be a scheduling thing, perhaps, because the acoustical separation on outdoor space is very difficult to manage. Yeah, I don't have an answer right away. I'm sorry. I'll
That's
just be
okay.
honest.
KP, your comment has been registered and heard, and you have him. I can hear um, our architect, our design team's mind. They're spinning, trying to think about ways. You've certainly given them something to think about as far as how to be able to have the garden area and the playground area and be able to accommodate those while recess learning and recess at the same time. Now, once again, if you're joining us on the Zoom call, please feel free to either make a comment, a suggestion, or ask any questions, either in the chat or by raising your hand using the reactions button in the lower right-hand side of your screen. We can go off mute and ask your question and make any comment you would like. And if you're joining us on Facebook, please feel free to make your comments and share your thoughts as well. And so you know we're getting thumbs up and hearts on our Facebook feeds in both English and Spanish. So the community is really embracing these particular design elements. Okay, here's another question coming
Awesome.
through. What kind of fencing will be used and the approximate height of the fencing?
The height of the fence cannot be more than 6 feet, because if it gets any higher than that, I think the city of Dallas is going to have a heartburn. Uh, for practicality, 6 feet is enough. I mean, if you have athleticism to go over that height at elementary school, you rather have a bright future. But it's not going to be one of those chain fence. It's going to be nice, decorative, vertical, a very simple one, and it's going to be black. And the reason why it's going to be black is because dark colors at this scale tend to disappear, and it will not look like you have a barrier. It's going to seem very transparent. If you have the same scale fence in white, it's gonna burn under light, and it's gonna be very visible. So most likely it's gonna be dark colored, vertical or ornamental fence at 6 foot.
Okay, great. Principal O'Neill, there's a question here to you, I believe. Principal O'Neill, is all sections of a grade out on the playground during their assigned recess? Roughly how many students are out at the same time? And I think that's a question to the principal.
Yes, yes, all sections of a grade are outside at the same time, so it's roughly anywhere between 70 to 85 students.
Okay, great. And another question, this goes back to the architecture team. What is the capacity of the cafeteria and how does that compare to the current cafeteria? Now, are we talking about the cafeteria, Ms. Decker? You're referencing the cafeteria as far as meal setup and not as a performance space?
That's right, meal setup.
Okay.
I can answer that in both ways. It is bigger than existing, slightly bigger. Also, this, cafeteria has capacity to do uh, 2 turns of having lunch or 3 sessions. Either 2 sessions or 3 sessions, but that's up to the school, how you like to do that. But it does have the capacity to do both. In performance version, I know it's not part of the question, but it's being used as such an area. It's going to have about 250 people capacity, which is a very good size for elementary school this size.
Wonderful. So again, from our options here, we were looking at, just so we can recap, what we heard this evening to make sure we're all leaving with and giving the direction that we have. Option A is the preferred architectural design. However, the windows elements and the placement of the windows, especially in the library and the classrooms, and the pops of color on those windows from option B, the community would like to see those incorporated into the option A architecture. So I think that's great feedback, and thanks everyone for sharing your thoughts and asking the questions and providing input in this process.
Right. Ms. Bell,
Mhm.
if I were to add just one more thing as an
Yes, uh-huh.
architect, it's our building. It's not just my building. So as I take all your comments, there will be some um, kind of compromises because sometime down the road, I want to do this type of window, but due to the lead process or production delays, we're going through tough times right now as a world. So there might some unforeseen problems. So please don't be upset if I don't execute all the comments and try to mix all the comments are quite difficult. But I'm gonna try to make the best out of all the comments that I got, and I appreciate you very much for coming to the show.
Thank you so much. We have another question coming through. What about storage areas for folding lunch tables, performance chairs? Will it be in the cafetorium?
Yes, those are some of the things that we need to work out. we're not there yet. But yes, most likely the loose chair storage, um, and things to the props that goes onto the stage and things like that needs to be stored within the proximity of the dining hall.
Great. Well, it seems like we're kind of winding down on the questions. Again, we're coming to those two questions. So I don't know if Mr. Alfred wants to jump in at this time, or if, Kim, if you want to continue. The questions that we have coming up are about the schedule for the building and the time frame for the new building. Mr. Alfred, if you want to jump in and address that.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, we're aiming at a fall 24 opening. So we'd like to get the design complete, bid it over the summer, late fall, and actually start construction November of next year.
Right. So again, that would be a fall for fall semester 2024 opening. So approximately a 2-year or so actual active construction timeline, with the construction and groundbreaking being fall of next year, 2022. And we are on schedule. Okay, great. Well, I want to thank the design team for everyone participating tonight. What a great way to kick off and hear everyone's comments and show that we are indeed thinking big, bold, innovative, and generational. Mr. Alfred, would you consider to continue as far as next steps from this point?
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Bell, and thank you, community. Yeah, we got a lot of good feedback today. I'm going to meet again with the architect team and make sure we're incorporating your comments. And we'd actually like to come back to you maybe in February, just for the presentation, from all the comments you received to show you the end results. And after that, like I said, we're going to wrap up the construction documents and hopefully bid it out in the fall and start in November of next year on construction. So we're excited. Again, I appreciate you guys' time. Great job to Manning Architects and Andy Kim, as well as our Dakita team, who's our project manager. So I see a question too about construction during
school hours. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Construction, the city of Dallas has an ordinance. We can only work from 7 to 7, Monday through Saturday, I believe. Work is not allowed on Sunday. So we'll stay within those operating hours. We'll also coordinate with Ms. O'Neill, the principal. Like I say, it's separated from the school, so they will be able to work during the day, but we are sensitive to noises around, testing and whatnot, and probably will not work on those days. But that's something we'll coordinate with the principal.
Okay. Alexis Flores, we see your hand raised. Go ahead.
Hi, sorry. I wanted to go back to the fencing question. And maybe it's a question more for the community and for Ms. O'Neill. But I was wondering if we could go to a lower fence and if the area would be open to the community to use for play. So the playgrounds would be open to the neighborhood, the basketball court would be open, and I wanted to see if that was possible.
And you mean open after school hours and on the
Correct.
weekends?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We're not opposed to that. I'm getting a question a lot at these community meetings. We will have I do think the fence can be lowered. We're going with a wrought iron fence. It's a district standard at a lot of these elementaries. So I think that would be the feel and look we're going for. It will have a gate. I believe it can be accessible, but we'll talk with some other our counterparts and make sure there's no policy or concern against it, and work with our police department as well. So.
Thank you.
Okay. Does anyone else have any additional questions or thoughts that pop to your mind? Okay. Someone asked, will or can the pavilion area be fenced separately? And so just for clarity's sake, if you wouldn't mind going off or ask the question, when you say the pavilion area, you're thinking about just the area around the pavilion fenced separately from the basketball court, proposed basketball court, or this whole area, including the basketball court, being fenced separately? Ms. Asen. We want to make sure we understand what you're asking. Okay, great. Yes, she's asking, is it possible to have the pavilion area fenced separately so children can use only the pavilion area for special events, and then having the area with the basketball and the green space separate from the pavilion area or separated by a fencing. So we can certainly.
And,
Mhm.
Well, we have to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was just pitching it to you, saying you probably could respond to that best.
Yeah, it's something that we need to take a look at, because if you have a fencing within fencing, in this case you have to, because we're not going to move the pavilion from where it is now. So that means we're going to have like an envelope within an envelope, and maybe we'll take a look at it, but it has to work with the what is most important thing at school is the functionality of everyday use. We cannot we cannot prioritize use that happens once a year or twice a year. Uh, we have to cater to the usage for every day, and that if that makes sense, then perhaps yes. But it's something that we will take a look at that.
Okay. Miss Kelly D'Amelio, I'm not certain of your question. I see your comments here, but it says, how is that project different than the Reilly redesign, and the pavilion shouldn't be isolated? I need just a little bit more clarity about
Sure. I
regarding the
drive
question.
by the Dan Rogers Elementary School. I'm just curious as in how that project, and they're in the midst of the construction, how is it different than this Riley redesign?
Okay, so you're asking the
I'm
question from
just
Dan.
curious because I've been watching it as it's been progressing on a weekly basis.
Okay,
And I'm curious because obviously on a weekly basis in the future, we're going to see Riley go through that same process.
so you're comparing just because you broke up a little bit, Dandy Rogers, the process you're seeing visibly on Dandy Rogers to what's going on, what will be happening at this project. Is that the school you referenced?
Correct.
Okay, Mr. Alfred, if you want to address that.
Yeah, that's a renovation you see going on. So that one is a lot different. Where this is a ground up, brand new school, and they have to do a lot more phasing around the Dandy Rogers school because of that. And so it's just a different process with the phasing going on, and where you have a whole field, a whole couple of acres to build a brand new school that's separated from it. Does that address your concern?
Thank you.
Right.
You just don't see what's happening beyond the fences, so I wasn't aware. I figured it would be keeping some of the building intact and then building on.
No, when this is completed, the existing Riley will be demoed.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Dandy Rogers is still the same Dandy Rogers. It's just we're adding on to the existing building, which is always, as Mr. Alfred shared, a much more complicated process than building from a blank slate from the ground up.
I also see it from a perspective of the residents around it and the the pros and cons of it. So just curious.
One thing I will share with you, and thank you so much for giving me a lead in to say this. We are keeping this process ongoing. The construction of a new school, as we've shared, is a multi-year process, from design through bidding to construction. We have the Bond 2020 website, and this meeting and other meetings have been recorded and are shared there, along with the presentation that will be in English and Spanish, will be shared on that website. What I will do is to make certain that if you go to Bond 2020 and right now you look under InDesign, you will see Martha Turney Reilly, a page there. All the information will be shared there. And I wholly ask and request and suggest and recommend and hope that you'll buy in there by sharing that page with your community members, your neighbors, your friends, and other family members. You can always go there for a one-stop shop to say, hey, this is what's going on with the project. We'll be putting announcements, and we're working with the principals on these projects to make sure we have communications already put into place and templates put in place that they can use that's throughout the construction process. We're here to support this community and this community of learners from design all the way until we're cutting that ribbon in fall of 2024 and turning the building over. So as long as you bookmark Bond 2020, dallasisd.org/Bond 2020, you will be able to keep track of what's going on and see any messaging that's needed as well. We have one other question here, one other comment here that says they're not understanding why the entire building is being designed around the pavilion if there is no plan to preserve it for any type of special use. It is currently, and then the comment cut off on the rest of that one. But there was just a comment about the pavilion and preserving the pavilion and how it will be used as well. So Mr. Alfred has shared the fact that we're looking at coming back to you sometime in the February time frame to share additional details and see how comments have been incorporated. I would like to give this opportunity now for the trustee Mishke, would you like to make any closing remarks at this time?
Well, yes, I would. Again, thank you, everyone. I think this has been a very helpful meeting, and I will say that the one person who picked neither was me in that group, because I wanted to leave it up to the community. So it wasn't that I didn't like either one of them; it was that I didn't want to vote either way, because I think this is a community decision, and I think this school is going to look great, and I hope everybody will continue to participate and give their input. This school has the real potential for helping to further enhance the neighborhood, and it's in most neighborhoods the school is the center of the neighborhood, and so we would really like everybody to be involved in offering their opinions and participating in these meetings. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Executive Director, Ms. Vega, would you like to make any closing remarks at this time?
Yes, I wanted to say thank you so much. I want to say thank you to Mr. Kim. I get to see you in person without your mask on. So thank you for highlighting, yes, the beautiful options A and B. So parents, community, those are some tough decisions that you have to make, but I really valued your input, and I can't wait to see what the finals are going to look like in February. So thank you so much.
Great. And last but certainly never least, we want to give a closing remarks for tonight to the amazing principal of this school, Principal O'Neill. Please go ahead.
All right. Thank you. I just really want to thank you. Thank you, Ms. Vega, for being here tonight. Trustee Mitchke, thank you for all your support for Reilly. And I am just really blown away by what the architects have put together, and really took the time to listen in the last meetings that we had and really create this beautiful school that aligns to our vision at Reilly. And I just really want to thank the community, parents, for coming out to give feedback. Thank you again to Manning, Mr. Alfred, thank you for all you do to support this project, and also Dakita, who are managing the project. And so we're looking forward to seeing the final presentation. And so thank you again for coming out tonight.
And once again, on behalf of Dallas ISD and the Bond and Construction Services Department, we thank you for joining us. Again, you can keep track. The website, www.dallasisd.org/Bond 2020, will be updated tomorrow with the presentation from tonight, as well as the video of tonight's meeting. So please feel free to share with anyone that you think missed the meeting or may be interested. We're always here and want to hear your voice and keep you updated on what's going on. So thank you so much, and we wish you a very great rest of the evening. Good night.